Groom rejected a mail-order bride with twins, until a lonely doctor said, "Marry me." Life on Selene 3, a remote terraformed moon, was not easy. The colony's settlers were scattered, and loneliness lingered like a silent companion. For Elias, a botanist dedicated to growing food for the struggling colony, isolation was a constant shadow. Today, however, the arrival of a special shipment brought more than just supplies. Among crates of hydroponic seeds, nutrient packs, and scientific equipment, there was a small, unfamiliar box marked Human Passenger. Curiosity sparked in Elias' chest. He had heard rumors of mail-order brides arriving from Earth, but he had never seen one firsthand. The shuttle's cargo bay doors opened, and a soft hum of air systems shifted. A woman stepped out, holding the hands of two small children. Her presence was calm yet commanding, and the twins, one boy, one girl, clung tightly to her skirts. They looked tired from the long journey but also curious, their wide eyes scanning the unfamiliar surroundings. "Hello," she said, her voice gentle but firm. "I am Mara. These are my children, Layla and Finn." Elias felt a strange warmth in his chest. There was something about her calm confidence and the way she guided the twins that immediately drew him in. The man who had requested her presence, the colony's so-called groom, was waiting nearby. He was tall and well-dressed, his expression one of impatience. When Mara approached, his eyes narrowed and a slight frown appeared on his face. "Wait," he said, his tone clipped. You brought the children. I thought this was just a simple arrangement." Mara's eyes flickered with calm resolve. "They are part of me. They are my family. I hope that is acceptable." The groom's face twisted in disgust. "Family? Children? I did not expect this. I can't. This isn't what I wanted." Mara's heart sank slightly, but she straightened her back. "I understand." She looked down at Leela and Finn. "It's okay, children. We will be fine." The twins held her hands tightly. "We'll be okay, Mama," Leela whispered, trying to smile. Finn nodded vigorously, hiding a small quiver in his lip. Elias, who had been watching quietly, felt a pang of sympathy. The man's rejection was cruel in its simplicity, but Mara handled it with grace. He wanted to step forward to say something encouraging, but he wasn't sure what to say. The groom turned to leave, muttering excuses about needing to attend a colony meeting. "We will discuss this later," he said without looking back. Once he was gone, the cargo bay felt suddenly quieter. Mara exhaled, a little tension leaving her shoulders. "Well," she said softly to Elias, "it seems we are not wanted here by everyone." Elias smiled faintly. "Some people are difficult to please. Don't let him worry you. You and your children are welcome here in my eyes." Mara looked at him, a hint of surprise in her expression. "Thank you," she said. Her eyes softened, and she allowed herself a brief moment of relief. The twins, sensing the shift in mood, let go of her hands and peeked curiously at Elias. Leela stepped forward shyly. "Hi, I'm Leela," she said in a small voice. Finn followed, his expression a mixture of caution and curiosity. "I'm Finn." Elias crouched slightly to meet their gaze. "Hello, Leela. Hello, Finn. I'm Dr. Harper. Do you like plants?" The twins' eyes lit up. "Yes," Leela said immediately. Finn nodded vigorously. Elias smiled, a warmth spreading through him. "Good, you're going to like it here. We grow a lot of plants, and I can show you some special ones later." Mara's lips curved into a small smile, grateful for the kindness in his voice. She had heard stories of lonely scientists and colonists, and something about Elias seemed different. Not greedy, not harsh, just honest and caring. As they walked toward the settlement, Mara noticed the sprawling greenhouses where Elias worked. The colony relied on him for food and medicine derived from plants, and even from afar she could see the meticulous care he took with each sapling. "This place, it's beautiful," she said softly, "even on a moon." Elias laughed lightly. "It's not Earth, but it has its charm. These plants, they keep us alive and they give the colony hope. You'll see, even these twins can help one day." Layla and Finn exchanged excited glances. "We can help," Finn asked eagerly. Elias nodded. "Of course, every little hand counts." The first few days in the colony were challenging. Mara had to adjust to the low gravity, the thin atmosphere, and the rhythm of life in a small, self-sufficient settlement. Yet, through it all, she maintained her calm and approachable demeanor. She introduced the twins to the other children, helped in the kitchens, and gradually became part of the community. Elias watched her from afar at first. He noticed the way she interacted with everyone, gentle, kind, and confident. She listened more than she spoke, but had a quiet authority that made people respect her. It was rare to see such a combination, and he found himself drawn to her, not just for her charm, but for her clear intelligence and resilience. The twins were his favorite surprise. They had endless energy and a curiosity that matched his own. Every morning, they followed him into the greenhouses, asking endless questions about plants, the air system, and how food grew on a moon. Leela had a careful touch, while Finn's enthusiasm often caused minor messes, but Elias didn't mind. Their joy was infectious, and for the first time in years, he felt like part of a family, even if it wasn't official yet. One morning, Mara approached Elias while he examined a new plant species in the greenhouse. "Dr. Harper," she said softly, "I was wondering if you could teach the children more about your work. They are fascinated." Elias glanced up, a smile tugging at his lips. "I'd be happy to." "It's always better when curious minds are involved." Mara nodded, relief in her eyes. "Thank you. It means a lot to them and to me." The colony's atmosphere began to shift subtly. While the rejected Groom avoided Mara and her children, the rest of the settlers began to admire her resilience and grace. They admired how she maintained her household, encouraged the children, and even offered small but clever improvements to the colony's routines. Slowly, Mara's presence became a source of inspiration rather than gossip. One evening, Elias found himself walking the twin moon's observation deck. Mara joined him, holding the twins' hands as they gazed at the stars. Leela pointed at a distant planet. "Mama, look." "Do you think we can go there someday?" Mara smiled gently. "Maybe one day, Leela, but for now we have this place, and we have each other." Finn tugged on Elia's sleeve. "Do you think plants can grow on that planet too, Dr. Harper?" Elias crouched down to meet the twins' excited faces. "Perhaps. Humans can do amazing things when we work together, and if we take care of the plants, they take care of us." Mara looked at Elias, sensing the unspoken words between them. For the first time since arriving, she felt a flicker of hope. Perhaps rejection was not the end, but the beginning of something better. As the twins chattered excitedly about future adventures, Elias and Mara shared a quiet understanding. Life on this distant moon was hard, but with courage, curiosity, and connection, it could also be full of wonder. And as the twin moons glimmered above, the beginnings of a new bond formed, one that promised warmth, family, and perhaps love. The first few weeks in Selene 3 colony had passed quickly for Mara and her twins. The children were growing curious about everything around them, from the airlocks to the hydroponic gardens. Leela loved learning about the plants, carefully inspecting each leaf, while Finn enjoyed the more adventurous side of exploration, touching strange tubes, flipping switches, and asking endless questions. Mara found herself walking through the colony with a sense of cautious hope. The rejection by the original Groom still lingered in her mind, but she refused to dwell on it. She had her children, a small but supportive community, and now Dr. Elias Harper, a quiet man with kind eyes and endless patience, was slowly becoming a friend. Elias, for his part, enjoyed the twins' company immensely. Their energy reminded him of the joy he had once felt during his early years on Earth, before scientific work had consumed him. He found himself explaining plant cycles, soil chemistry, and air filtration systems to Leela and Finn in simple words, watching their eyes widen with curiosity and excitement. One morning, Mara approached the greenhouse where Elias was tending a tray of rare luminescent plants. The light from the twin moons poured in through the transparent ceiling, casting soft reflections on the glass. "Good morning, Dr. Harper," she said softly. "The children are excited today. They were talking about your plants all night." Elias glanced up from his work, smiling. "I'm glad. They are very curious, and that's exactly how they should be. Learning is fun, not just work." Mara nodded, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "I was thinking, maybe I can help them with a small project, something useful for the colony." "Could you show me what they need to know?" Elias hesitated, then gestured toward the plants. "Of course. You don't need prior knowledge. I'll guide you step by step." The twins bounced excitedly around the work table, their small hands reaching for everything. Leela carefully touched the leaves, observing their veins, while Finn poked the soil, giggling when it squished between his fingers. Elias chuckled. "Careful, Finn. The soil is delicate, but yes, it's fun to touch it." Mara watched them, a soft smile on her face. She could see that Elias' patience and kindness were making the children feel safe and happy, a gift she could never underestimate. As they worked, Mara noticed something unusual. One of the new plant species, a delicate blue-leafed vine, seemed to be wilting despite proper care. The edges of the leaves curled inward and a faint yellow tint spread across the stems. "Dr. Harper, look at this," Mara said, pointing to the vine. "I think something is wrong." Elias knelt beside her, examining the plant closely. Yes, I see. It's sensitive to the nutrient mix in the hydroponic system. A small imbalance can cause this." Mara frowned. "Is it dangerous?" "No," Elias replied reassuringly. "But if we don't correct it soon, it could die. And these plants are important. They produce oxygen and nutrients critical for the colony." The twins gasped. "We can help," Leela said immediately, while Finn nodded eagerly. Elias smiled, feeling a surge of pride. "Yes, you can, but you must follow instructions carefully." For the next few hours, Mara, Elias, and the twins worked together. Mara mixed nutrient solutions while Elias adjusted pH levels and water circulation. Leela carefully checked each plant's leaves for discoloration, and Finn helped transport small tools and containers, often singing little tunes to keep spirits high. Despite their lack of formal training, Mara and the twins adapted quickly. Elias noticed her ability to stay calm and think logically, even under stress. Mara, in turn, admired his knowledge and how he explained complex things in simple ways. The two of them began to communicate effortlessly, a rhythm forming between shared work, smiles, and laughter. By midday, the plants looked healthier. The blue-leafed vine straightened its stems slightly, showing signs of recovery. Mara clapped her hands in delight. "It's working! We did it!" The twins danced around, celebrating their small victory. "We saved the plant," Finn shouted proudly. Leela giggled. "We are plant heroes." Elias laughed, feeling a warmth spread through him. "Yes, heroes, and you see, teamwork makes everything better, even on a moon far from Earth." Later, Mara sat with Elias in the greenhouse while the twins explored nearby tables. "I didn't expect life here to be so collaborative," she said. "Back home, people cared more about themselves than the community, but here, everyone seems to help each other." Elias nodded. "It's not easy, but we try. Humans are capable of more than just survival. We are capable of caring for each other and the world around us. That is what makes life meaningful." Mara looked at him, her eyes softening. "I see that now, and I see that in you." Elias felt a flutter of something he hadn't felt in years, hope, a connection beyond friendship. He wanted to say more, but Mara's eyes shifted toward the twins, and he smiled quietly instead. Words could wait, actions mattered more. The next day, Elias invited Mara and the twins to help with a small experiment. He had been cultivating a new type of plant designed to purify water and produce a mild, nutritious fruit. It was a delicate process that required precision and care. Mara and the twins were excited to participate. Leela carefully measured water, while Finn gently added soil nutrients under Mara's supervision. Elias guided them, praising their attention to detail and curiosity. During the process, Mara noticed a subtle problem in the water circulation system. One of the pipes had a tiny leak, causing the water flow to slow down slightly. If left unchecked, it could affect the experiment. Doctor Harper, this pipe, it might be a problem, she said cautiously. Elias examined it, impressed. You're right. Good observation, Mara. Let's fix it carefully. Together, they adjusted the pipe, ensuring the water flowed correctly. The experiment stabilized and the plants thrived. Elias looked at Mara, admiration evident in his eyes. You have a natural talent for this, he said softly. Mara smiled, a bit shy. I've learned a few things along the way, and these children, they teach me too. Everything becomes important when you have someone to care for. The twins overheard her and ran to hug her. Leela whispered, We care for you, Mama, Finn added, and Dr. Harper too. Elias laughed, feeling a surge of warmth. The children had a way of making even a cold, sterile greenhouse feel alive. As the days went on, Mara and Elias spent more time together, often working on small projects, fixing minor problems in the colony, or tending to the plants. The twins became inseparable from Elias, calling him Uncle Elias, while Mara grew to trust him more than she had trusted anyone since leaving Earth. One evening, as the colony gathered for a communal meal, Mara noticed the rejected Groom lingering at the edge of the crowd. He glanced at her, but there was no warmth in his eyes, only confusion and perhaps a hint of jealousy. Mara ignored him, focusing instead on the laughter of her children and the quiet companionship of Elias. After the meal, Elias and Mara walked the children back to their quarters. Leela and Finn chattered endlessly about the day's experiments, their energy infectious. Thank you, Mara said quietly as they reached the door, for helping me, for helping them. I didn't expect to find someone like you here. Elias smiled gently. You're welcome, and I didn't expect to find someone like you either. Life has a way of surprising us. The twins waved goodbye, exhausted but happy. Mara closed the door behind them, leaning against it with a sigh. She felt a strange mix of relief and hope. Perhaps rejection by one man had led her to the right place, with the right people. Elias lingered a moment outside, watching the twins run ahead and Mara follow. The moonlight cast soft shadows across the colony, and he realized something important. In a world far from Earth, with struggles, challenges, and isolation, human connection, the kind built on trust, patience, and care, was the most valuable discovery of all. That night Mara sat by the observation deck, looking at the twin moons. She thought of the journey ahead, the life she was building with her children, and the quiet presence of Elias Harper. A sense of calm determination filled her heart. The past rejection no longer mattered. There was a future here, full of promise, learning, and perhaps even love. And somewhere in the greenhouse, Elias tended his plants, thinking of Mara and her children, grateful for the unexpected friendship that had blossomed into something more. Little did they know, the tiny vine Mara had saved would soon reveal a new secret, a discovery that could change life on Selene 3 forever. But for now, they were content with the simple joys of learning, helping, and building connections in a faraway colony on the moon. The moon colony of Selene 3 had settled into a rhythm over the past weeks. Life was still hard, but there was a sense of order. Every day brought new tasks: tending hydroponic gardens, checking air filters, monitoring water circulation, and teaching the children about life on a moon far from Earth. Mara had grown confident in her new home. She and the twins had adjusted well, making friends with the other children in the colony, and forming a quiet partnership with Dr. Elias Harper. Elias admired Mara's practical intelligence and calm problem-solving skills, and Mara respected his knowledge and patience. Leela and Finn were inseparable from Elias, calling him Uncle Elias as if he had always been part of their family. One morning, a loud alarm sounded across the colony. Red lights flashed on the walls, and an automated voice repeated, "Attention! Life support system malfunction." Immediate action required. Mara's heart leaped into her throat. She grabbed the twins' hands. "Stay close to me," she called as she ran toward the greenhouse with Elias already heading in the same direction. Elias' face was serious. "It's the hydroponic life support system. If the nutrient circulation stops, the plants will die within hours, and that will affect the entire colony's food supply." Mara nodded, her mind racing. "We can fix it. We have to. Can the children help?" Elias shook his head. "They can stay safe for now. This is too technical and dangerous for them." "But they want to help," Mara protested. She looked at the twins, whose eyes were wide with fear and determination. Leela clutched her small notebook, where she had been drawing plants and charts. Finn clutched a toolkit Elias had given him for practice. Elias sighed but smiled. "They can observe, at least. Learning is important, even in emergencies." They reached the main hydroponic chamber. Pipes ran along the walls like silver veins, carrying nutrient-rich water to every plant. Small screens blinked warnings of irregular flow, and sensors emitted a quiet, rhythmic beep signaling pressure drops. "Okay," Elias said, rolling up his sleeves. "It looks like the nutrient pumps are blocked. We need to clear the pipes and restore the flow. Mara, can you handle the controls while I inspect the pipes?" Mara nodded. Her hands flew over the panels, reading flow rates, adjusting valves, and monitoring sensors. Elias climbed a small ladder to check the pipes at the top, his movements careful but fast. The twins watched, holding onto the railing. Leela pointed at a blinking screen. "That one," she shouted. "It's flashing red." "Yes, Leela, you're right," Elias said. "That is one of the main pump valves. Mara, focus on that one first." Working together, Mara and Elias coordinated the adjustments. Slowly, the nutrient circulation began to stabilize, but the problem was bigger than they expected. One of the older pipes had developed a partial blockage that required manual cleaning, a risky and delicate task. Mara looked at Elias. "We can do this, but we need to be very careful. If we apply too much pressure, the pipe could crack." Elias nodded. "Agreed. Let's work step by step." The twins leaned closer, fascinated. "Can we help by handing you tools?" Finn asked eagerly. "Yes," Elias said. "But remember, everything must be clean and precise." For the next hour, Mara and Elias worked side by side, cleaning and adjusting pipes, monitoring flow rates, and recalibrating pumps. Mara's hands moved skillfully over the controls, guided by logic and calm thinking. Elias adjusted valves, tightened connections, and checked sensors. The twins carefully handed them tools, learning the names of instruments and what each part did. Leela counted each step silently to make sure they didn't miss anything. Finn hummed a tune, which somehow made the long process feel less stressful. Finally, the last pipe cleared. The flow normalized and the red warnings on the screens disappeared. Plants straightened their stems as the nutrient-rich water coursed through them again. "We did it," Mara exclaimed, a huge smile spreading across her face. "The plants are safe." Elias laughed, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Yes, we did, and you handled it beautifully." The twins cheered. "We helped too," Finn shouted. Leela hugged Mara. "We saved the plants with Mama and Uncle Elias." Mara felt her chest swell with pride. The children's joy was contagious, and she felt a deep sense of accomplishment. Elias looked at her, admiration clear in his eyes. "You were amazing, Mara." "Calm, smart, precise, exactly what this colony needs." Mara smiled shyly. "Thank you, but we couldn't have done it without each other. You and I together." Elias felt a warmth spread through him. He wanted to say more, to tell her how much he had come to care for her and the twins, but the twins' laughter interrupted the moment, reminding him that patience was just as important as words. After the crisis, The colony held an impromptu gathering to celebrate. The settlers brought small snacks and the children ran around laughing. Mara and Elias shared a quiet moment on a bench, watching the twins play. "You know," Elias said softly, "I've faced many technical problems in my career, but this was different. It felt human. It felt like we were saving more than plants, we were saving hope." Mara nodded. "Exactly, and hope is what humans need most, especially here, far from Earth." The twins ran up to them. Leela held up a small drawing she had made during the emergency. It showed Mara, Elias, and the twins with happy faces surrounded by healthy plants. "Look, we saved them," Finn added, "and we worked together, just like real heroes." Elias smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. He realized that humans, when working together, could overcome any problem. It wasn't brute strength or violence that mattered, it was intelligence, care, and collaboration. That evening, Mara tucked the twins into bed, and they chattered about the day's adventure. "Mama, we helped Uncle Elias," Finn said proudly. "Yes, you did," Mara said, kissing his forehead, "and I am so proud of you both." She turned to Elias, who had stayed to make sure everything in the greenhouse was running smoothly. "Thank you for letting them be part of this," she said softly. Elias looked at her, a quiet smile on his face. "Thank you for being part of it too. You handled everything with grace and intelligence. You're incredible, Mara." Mara felt a flutter in her chest. There was something in his gaze, a recognition, a connection, that made her feel seen in a way she hadn't in a long time. The next few days were filled with reflection and recovery. Mara, Elias, and the twins worked together to reinforce the colony's systems to prevent future malfunctions. They created checklists, schedules, and even a small guide for the children to understand how the hydroponic system worked. The twins were eager to learn, and their enthusiasm inspired other children in the colony. Leela began keeping a small journal of plant observations, while Finn enjoyed simple experiments with soil and water flow. Mara and Elias guided them gently, letting curiosity lead the learning. One afternoon, while testing a new plant growth formula, Mara and Elias noticed something unusual. A small cluster of the blue-leafed vines they had saved earlier was glowing faintly, pulsing with a soft light. "Look at this," Mara said, pointing. "I've never seen them do that before." Elias examined them closely. "It's fascinating. The plants might be reacting to changes in nutrient flow or environmental conditions. If we study this carefully, it could help improve food production for the entire colony." Mara's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Do you think we can use this to help everyone?" Elias nodded. "I believe so, and we'll do it together." As they watched the glowing vines, Mara felt a sense of hope that stretched beyond the colony. Life on Selene 3 was challenging, yes, but it was also full of discovery, collaboration, and the simple joys of working together. For the first time in months, she felt truly at home. And for the first time, Elias Harper realized that home might not just be a place, it could be a person. The twins ran through the greenhouse, laughing, their energy contagious. Mara and Elias shared a quiet smile, knowing that no matter what challenges the future held, they would face them together, with courage, intelligence, and heart. And as the twin moons shone brightly above Selene 3, the colony thrived, not through force or conflict, but through the remarkable resilience, creativity, and connection of humans. The colony of Selene 3 had never felt more alive. The recent life support challenge had brought everyone closer together, and Mara's presence, along with her twins, had become an essential part of the community. Leela and Finn had discovered the joy of learning in unexpected ways, from tending plants to helping Elias with experiments. Mara, meanwhile, had found herself growing more confident in her abilities and her role within the settlement. One crisp morning, Mara and Elias walked through the central greenhouse, observing the thriving plants. The blue-leafed vines they had saved weeks earlier now pulsed with soft light, almost as if they were alive in a new way. "These plants, they're remarkable," Mara said softly. "I never imagined that something so fragile could adapt and even thrive in this environment." Elias smiled, adjusting his glasses as he examined the vines. "It's not just the plants, it's human care that makes the difference. You, Mara, and the children, you saved them. You nurtured them, that's why they're thriving." Mara looked down at Leela and Finn, who were busy examining small seedlings on the tables. Leela pointed at a leaf. "Mama, look, it's growing faster today." "Yes," Mara said, smiling. "It's doing very well." She looked up at Elias. "I think maybe we all are. I've never felt this sense of purpose before." Elias nodded slowly. "It's remarkable what humans can do when we work together. We create, we nurture, and we improve the world around us. That's the true power of humanity." Mara felt a warmth in her chest at his words. She had known it logically, of course, but hearing it aloud from someone she respected made it feel real. Elia's quiet strength, his steady confidence, and his kindness made her heart flutter in ways she hadn't expected. Later that day, the colony announced a community celebration to honor the recovery of the life support system and the successful growth of the colony's hydroponic gardens. Mara volunteered to help organize the event, while Elias agreed to assist with the scientific demonstrations. The twins were ecstatic. Leela had made small signs with plant drawings, and Finn had crafted little gadgets to show how water circulated through the hydroponic system. Mara watched them, her heart full. As the celebration began, the community gathered in the central plaza, decorated with glowing vines and colorful banners. Settlers brought snacks, flowers, and small handmade gifts. The children ran around laughing, while adults exchanged stories of recent experiments, minor challenges, and lessons learned. Mara and Elias worked together to set up a small demonstration table, showing how the blue-leafed vines reacted to changes in nutrient flow. Leela and Finn assisted, explaining the process in simple words to younger children. "See," Elias said to a group of curious children, "the plants are responding to care. When we nurture them, they thrive, just like humans." The twins smiled proudly. "We help too," Leela added, pointing at the glowing vines. The crowd clapped, impressed by the children's knowledge and enthusiasm. Mara looked at Elias, her eyes softening. "You make it so easy for them to learn. You're amazing with them." Elias chuckled. "I've learned from you too. You guide them with patience and understanding. It's inspiring." The day passed with laughter, learning, and shared joy. As the crowd began to thin, Mara and Elias found a quiet corner, away from the chatter. "I didn't expect life here to be so connected," Mara said, her voice soft. "Back on Earth, people often worked only for themselves, but here everyone seems to care for each other." Elias nodded. "That's the difference. Humans can achieve incredible things when we put aside selfishness and focus on collaboration. And you embody that spirit. You've brought so much to this colony." Mara felt her heart swell. I didn't know I could be part of something like this. I was afraid at first after being rejected. I thought maybe I wouldn't belong anywhere." Elias reached out gently, placing a hand over hers. "You belong here, Mara, you and your children, and I'm glad you do. I've been alone for a long time, and seeing your family, it's made me realize how important connection is, not just for survival but for happiness." Mara looked into his eyes, feeling a mixture of hope and nervousness. "Elias, she paused, unsure how to put her feelings into words. Before she could continue, Leela and Finn ran up, holding hands. "Mama, Uncle Elias, look at this," Finn shouted. They had found a small patch of seedlings growing faster than expected. "It's amazing," Mara said, kneeling to inspect the plants. Elias crouched beside her, placing a hand lightly on her back. The twins' excitement was contagious. They began explaining how they had adjusted the soil mixture slightly, following their observations from previous experiments. Their enthusiasm and pride filled the space around them. Mara felt a surge of emotion. Her children were learning, contributing, and thriving. Elias was there, supportive, patient, and kind. She realized in that moment that life could be beautiful even in the most unexpected places. As the sun set behind the twin moons, Mara and Elias walked the twins back to their quarters. The soft glow of the moons reflected off the greenhouse glass, casting a peaceful light over the colony. "Mama," Leela whispered, "do you think we can grow even more plants like this?" "Yes," Mara said softly. "We can do anything if we work together." She looked at Elias, who smiled gently. Later that evening, Mara sat by the observation deck, gazing at the moons. Elias joined her quietly, sitting a small distance away. They didn't speak at first, simply enjoying the serenity and the soft hum of the colony's life support systems. After a moment, Elias spoke. "Mara, I want to tell you something. I've been thinking about you a lot lately. Not just because of what you've done for the colony, but because of who you are. Your strength, your patience, your care, it's remarkable." Mara felt her breath catch. "Elias, I feel the same. I've never met anyone like you. You're kind, intelligent, and you care about things that really matter. You've made this place feel like home." Elias turned to her, his expression sincere. "I don't just want you to feel at home here. I want to be part of your life. And your children, S. I want to help build a future with you." Mara's heart leapt. She looked at him, a mix of surprise, hope, and longing in her eyes. "Elias, I want that too, but I've been hurt before. I need to be sure this is real." "It is real," Elias said softly. "And I'm willing to prove it every day in every way I can." The twins ran past, laughing and chasing each other, their joy filling the night. Mara smiled, feeling a warmth spread through her. The bond she shared with Elias was growing stronger, built on trust, respect, and shared purpose. The next morning, the colony faced a smaller challenge, a minor issue in the oxygen recycling system. But this time, Mara, Elias, and even the twins approached it with confidence. Leela helped monitor readings, Finn assisted with tools, and Mara guided the process with Elias by her side. The problem was resolved quickly, showing that the lessons they had learned together had not only saved plants but also strengthened their teamwork. Later that day, Mara stood in the greenhouse looking at the glowing vines. She thought about the journey so far: rejection, adaptation, struggle, and finally connection. She realized that true strength lay not in resisting change or hiding from challenges, but in embracing them together. Elias joined her, placing a hand gently on her shoulder. "Mara, I think the colony has grown stronger because of you. And I've grown stronger too because of you." Mara turned to him, her eyes shining. "And I've grown stronger because of you, Elias. Thank you for being here, for believing in us." They stood in silence for a moment, letting the serenity of the greenhouse and the glowing light of the vines fill the space. The twins ran past, laughing, their energy a reminder that life, learning, and love could flourish even in the most unexpected places. Mara realized with a deep and comforting certainty that she and Elias were no longer just colleagues or friends. They were building a family, slowly but surely, with shared effort, respect, and care. And in that realization, she found a sense of peace and hope she had not known in a long time. The twin moons rose high in the sky, casting their silvery light over Selene 3. Mara, Elias, and the twins looked up together, united in purpose and in heart. The colony, thriving under their combined care, was more than a settlement. It was a testament to human resilience, ingenuity, and the power of connection. And in the quiet glow of the moons, Mara felt a certainty that no rejection, no challenge, and no hardship could ever break the bonds they had formed. Together they were unstoppable, not through force, but through love, learning, and humanity. The colony of Selene 3 glowed under the twin moons. The previous months had transformed it from a struggling settlement into a thriving community, full of life, laughter, and purpose. Mara, Elias, and the twins had become central to this transformation. Their combined efforts in tending the hydroponic gardens, stabilizing life support systems, and sharing knowledge had inspired the entire colony. The morning was crisp, and a soft breeze passed through the observation deck as Mara and Elias walked with Leela and Finn. The twins skipped ahead, pointing out every small change in the plants, every improvement in the greenhouses. "Mama, look!" Leela shouted, holding up a tiny sprout. "This one grew overnight, and this water filter works perfectly," Finn added proudly, pointing to a small, clean pipe. Mara smiled, ruffling their hair. "You two are growing just as fast as the plants." Elias laughed softly. "They've learned well. Your guidance and curiosity have shaped them." Mara felt warmth fill her chest. Elias' words, combined with the twins' joy, made her heart swell. She had never imagined that a rejection, a lonely life far from Earth, could lead to something so full of love and purpose. Later that day, the colony gathered for a special event. Mara and Elias had suggested organizing a small festival to celebrate the success of their hydroponic gardens and life support improvements. The settlers had embraced the idea enthusiastically. Tables were filled with fresh produce, glowing plants, and creative displays by the children. Leela and Finn had prepared a small demonstration of how they had adjusted soil mixtures and monitored water flow, showing younger children how even small hands could make a difference. The twins' pride was evident, their energy contagious. Elias guided Mara to a quiet corner of the plaza. "It's amazing, isn't it?" he said softly. "All of this, it's thriving because humans care, because humans work together." Mara nodded, her eyes sweeping across the crowd. "It's more than I ever imagined. This colony, the plants, the children, us, everything feels alive." Elias looked at her, his expression sincere. "And you, Mara, you've made a difference beyond measure. I've watched you handle every challenge, every obstacle with grace and intelligence. I've grown to admire you more than words can say." Mara felt a flutter in her chest. "Elias, I feel the same. I've never met anyone like you. You've made this place feel like home for me and for the twins." Elias took a deep breath, his gaze steady. "Mara, will you marry me?" For a moment, Mara's heart stopped. The question hung in the air, filled with hope and possibility. She glanced at the twins, who were cheering and clapping as part of their demonstration. Then she looked at Elias, seeing the sincerity, the patience, and the care in his eyes. "Yes," she whispered, a smile breaking across her face. "Yes, Elias, I will." Elias' face lit up and he gently took her hand. The twins ran over, hugging both of them. "Yay, Mama and Uncle Elias," Finn shouted. Leela nodded vigorously. "We knew this would happen." The colony erupted in cheers, clapping, and laughter filling the plaza. The simple ceremony was filled with joy, not pomp. The settlers celebrated human connection, collaboration, and love. Mara and Elias exchanged quiet smiles, knowing that their bond was more meaningful than any formal ritual could express. After the ceremony, the twins led a small exploration around the colony. They ran ahead, pointing out improvements they had helped create: a repaired water filter, healthier hydroponic trays, and glowing plants in the central greenhouse. Mara and Elias walked behind, hand in hand, marveling at the life they had nurtured together. "Mama, look at this!" Leela exclaimed. "This vine glows even brighter now." Elias knelt beside her. "That's because of all your care, Leela. You and Finn helped it thrive." Finn grinned proudly. "We're plant heroes," Mara laughed, ruffling their hair. "Yes, you are, heroes of Selene 3. As the day passed, the family worked together, continuing to improve the colony. Mara organized small learning sessions for children and adults alike, teaching them how to care for plants and monitor environmental systems. Elias shared his knowledge of science and technology, demonstrating experiments and explaining concepts in simple, engaging ways. The twins became local celebrities, showing that even small humans could make a big difference. The community thrived, not just because of advanced technology or careful planning, but because humans work together with heart and intelligence. That evening, Mara, Elias, and the twins sat on the observation deck, watching the twin moons rise high in the sky. The soft glow reflected on the glass and metal of the colony, casting a peaceful light over everything. "Mama," Leela said, leaning against Mara's shoulder, "do you think we'll find more glowing plants like this?" "I'm sure we will," Mara said softly, "and we'll discover new things together." Finn nodded eagerly. "Can we explore other moons too?" Elias smiled. "One step at a time, Finn. First, we take care of this place. Then who knows what humans can achieve?" Mara looked at Elias, a quiet understanding passing between them. Life on Selene 3 was challenging, yes, but it was also filled with wonder, discovery, and connection. They had faced rejection, technical failures, and isolation. But through it all, they had built something stronger than any obstacle: family, community, and hope. The twins' laughter echoed across the observation deck as they chased a small, glowing plant, their energy and curiosity lighting up the night. Mara felt a deep sense of gratitude for her children, for Elias, and for the unexpected journey that had led them here. Elias wrapped an arm around Mara, holding her close. "You know," he said softly, "I think humans are extraordinary, not because of strength or power, but because of our ability to care, to create, and to grow together." Mara leaned against him, her heart full. "I agree. And I'm glad we can do it together." As they watched the twin moons shine above Selene 3, Mara realized that rejection was not the end of her story. It was the beginning. The man who had rejected her had opened a door, unknowingly leading her to a life filled with purpose, love, and family. The colony's lights twinkled below, a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. Plants glowed, children laughed, and settlers worked side by side, united by shared goals and mutual care. Mara, Elias, and the twins had not only survived, they had flourished, proving that humans could create beauty and hope even in the most unlikely places. Night fell and the twins curled up in bed, tired but happy. Mara tucked them in, kissing their foreheads. "Sleep well, my heroes," she whispered. Elias joined her, sitting quietly beside the bed. "They're growing up to be remarkable," he said softly. "Yes," Mara agreed, her eyes soft. "And they have us, always." The next morning, the colony buzzed with energy. Mara and Elias guided the twins as they helped water plants, check nutrient levels, and organize small experiments. Every step, every small achievement, reinforced the bond they had formed, not only as a family, but as part of a thriving human community. Even the previously rejected Groom had left Selene 3, unable to contribute meaningfully or understand the true value of human connection. Mara felt no bitterness, only relief. Life had guided her to the right people, the right family, and the right home. As the sun rose over the twin moons, Mara and Elias stood side by side, holding hands, watching their children run ahead. The colony around them thrived with life and light, proof of what humans could achieve when they worked together with care, creativity, and heart. "Mara," Elias said quietly, "we've built something extraordinary here. Not just a colony, not just gardens, but life, family, hope." "Yes," Mara replied, her eyes shining, "and it's only the beginning." The twins ran back to them, arms wide. "Mama, Uncle Elias, look at the glowing plant." Mara laughed, catching Finn and twirling him around. Leela held her hand tightly, smiling. Elias joined in, lifting both children high into the air. In that moment, Mara felt a perfect balance of joy, love, and belonging. The journey from rejection to hope had led her here, to a life filled with laughter, discovery, and family. And under the watchful twin moons, the colony of Selene 3 thrived, a shining testament to humanity's greatest strength: our ability to care, to grow, and to love one another.